Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And we're back with another exciting edition of Pots and Shots. And we have with us today, as we always do, Jake Jacoby of TELCLOUD. Jake, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Doug. Good to be here again. Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be doing this again and to resume our podcast series, Pots and Shots, where we learn about the best approaches to the POTS situation, replacing POTS technology with new approaches. And at the same time, we get a tour of the world-class tequilas. That's coming up, so stick around. But for now, we're going to start our discussion today. Jake, critical systems rely on that POTS technology currently.
That's right.
Those systems are located in things like elevators, fire alarms, other places. We kind of ignore it all the time. It's just sitting there in the background. But gee, when you need it, you're stuck in an elevator. Literally, the building's on fire or something like that. We better have reliability.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So, these POTS lines, like you said, are the reason that they were used in the past for life safety systems is because they were so reliable, right? So when it
Yep.
comes to POTS line replacement, you need something that is as reliable or better. And that's what we shoot for at TELCLOUD, to make them better than what they were in the past.
And let's stick with that for just a second, because that five we all the people in our industry know what 5.9 reliability is. It's
Yeah,
not exactly that it never fails, but gee, it
it's very
almost
hard.
feels like it.
Yeah, and it's very hard to achieve 5 nines of uptime, right? So, um, yeah, and with TELCLOUD service, we do achieve we try to exceed that 5 nines of uptime. The only way you do that is with redundancy, and that goes through our entire network, right? So not only the devices have multiple paths of connectivity. Those devices are sit on premise at the customer's location, but then also the network, right? Back to our data centers and our global data centers. And the way that we achieve that is, like I said, with multiple paths, redundancy, failover, hot swapping of critical systems. So every single one of our data centers is redundant within itself, and each data center is redundant of each other. And so we have multiple data centers in the US, and then we have multiple data centers across the world. And so we're able to achieve those 5 nines of uptime. And even with cellular connectivity, we typically do that with multiple carriers, and even expand into satellite connectivity. But we've talked in the past about multiple WANs, and so that connectivity is redundant in itself. That's how you do that.
Just give me a little bit more of a peek into that, how that actually, that failover works. So what you're saying is there's a system in when you guys go in and do that replacement. There's first a system there, but if it should fail, then it trips into something else.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So again, the way that these things work is you have networks, right? So we talked about that for a second, the data centers, the global network, things like that. But then you have, any place that there's like a single point of failure is what you want to see if you can achieve some type of redundancy, right? So we have on location, or we call it the customer premise location, equipment, customer CPE. That equipment has redundancy built into itself. So one, we're using the power of the building, but when that power fails, we have battery backup. If that battery backup ends, we have another battery backup, right? So right there, you've got triple redundancy. You've got power, you've got battery, you've got backup. Now you need connectivity. So the way you do that and you achieve redundancy in the connectivity is you've got broadband, you've got satellite, you've got cellular, you've got cellular carrier number one, you've got cellular carrier number two. And so by building in these redundancies, that's how you achieve this 5 nines of uptime, and ideally 100% uptime, right? So this mission critical system that, like we said, is used for 911 calls, elevator emergency calls, fire panels that need to check in and make sure that the check in so the central stations know that the building's safe, or if there is an emergency, alert the first responders. All of that is mission critical. So when you take the on-premise equipment tied to our global network, we're able to achieve this efficiency and this reliability that you just weren't even able to achieve with a single copper line. So that's why when I first said about, not only meeting but exceeding, you know, the functionality of what an original POTS line is, that's what we're doing at TELCLOUD. And that's what our resellers can then take to their customers and talk to them about, right? This is not only a replacement, it's an improvement on what they have today.
So, Jake, with those multiple layers of redundancy, and with all the different locations that somebody might have to replace, is this still a doable or affordable thing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Doug. So it's actually more affordable than the aging infrastructure, right?
Really?
So because that aging infrastructure, the carriers and they've gone to the FCC and you're trying to get rid of that copper. Copper is very expensive to maintain, and like we talked about in past episodes, those central offices that all the copper runs back to, they're they're only using a very small percentage of them. However, they need to keep them up and running. That's part of the reason they want to shut this down, right? Is why maintain all of that very, very expensive infrastructure and buildings when they're only receiving revenue for a very small portion of what used to be everything was copper. Now it's just like 5 to 10%. So when you move to new technology like the ones that we're talking about with internet technology, cellular, satellite, different types of connectivity, you're able to get the efficiencies out, and you're able to provide these, the better reliability, the better uptime, and you're doing it really at a fraction of the cost, right? The other nice thing about that is that it's a cost that you can count on and is stable so that you can plan on this. The thing about these life safety lines is that they're required by law. So businesses have to have them. It's not a nice to have, it's a have to have. So if you have to have it, you need to have something that you can count on and a cost that can be controlled and you can plan on for the future. Right now, what's happening is that the cost it continually increases with these legacy systems, and eventually they're just going to go away. So businesses are going to be in a bad situation where their lines are gone. They were paying a very high price. They're eventually going to be turned off, and then they're going to have to scramble for a solution. So what our resellers are out there helping with is they're educating their customers and showing them like, hey, not only is this a better, more reliable solution, it's affordable and it's long term, because as long as you have a building, you're going to need these type of lines to provide these type of services.
Let's narrow it down also to, for resellers that are talking especially to people or organizations that are healthcare, education, or public safety. How should they frame the value of a highly reliable POTS line replacement solution?
Yeah, I think it's just that. It's just saying, explaining what they had in the past, right? So again, these life safety lines are required. Any of the businesses out there are seeing that pressure of the price, right? The price is increasing, putting more
Right.
pressure and reliability, right? So it's not only that the price is increasing, but the maintenance isn't being done and eventually they're being shut off, which causes pain within that organization. So what our resellers are doing is simply educating about that. And a lot of times the customer are like, oh yes, we definitely feel that pain, but we don't really have a path to, where there's, how do we deal with this? And so our resellers with TELCLOUD's information and the content that we bring and the education on how the backend systems work can bring that information to those customers, show them this path and show them the solution. And it's very easy. I mean, we've got national fleets of installers. It's full service. We go in there. We have options now where the customers just pay a monthly fee, right? They don't have any upfront cost. They can sign a contract that guarantees their price for many years to come, and it gives them that reliability and consistency and knowledge that they have something that's going to work and that's code compliant.
So this is one of those reseller opportunities where actually you're getting the customer to do a necessary and right thing,
That's
and
right.
actually you walk in there and save the money.
That's right. Absolutely.
So there's like
Yeah.
an immediate ROI that you don't have to wait around for it.
Right. And the thing about it is like, in the next few years, right, this is really coming to a head, right? These lines are are astronomical in the price. So it's this critical point in time where the price is going up, the lines are being shut down, and there's so many lines left that it's what TELCLOUD's really trying to do is empower an army of resellers that can help their own customers. We've talked about this in the past, right? There's not enough time for one company to just go do this, right? It's going to take many different organizations helping, millions of, locations out there to change this. And, we all have to kind of work together in order to achieve that. And so TELCLOUD does our part by providing that technology on the back end. We empower those resellers to go out and be educated, to educate their customers, and then go out and do that work so that we work together so that we can have a great transition. And for our resellers, for the customers, they have a solution that's going to work for them for many years. That's affordable. For the resellers, they're building a recurring revenue business that is sustainable and allows them. And for TELCLOUD, it allows us to invest and make sure that we always have the best technology to provide all the way through this channel.
So now in our pots and shots series comes the shots part. So
Yes.
we're taking, by the way, for folks that are watching this for the first time, we're doing kind of a tour of the world's best tequilas. Jake, what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so this week, so for anybody that doesn't know, TELCLOUD's headquarters is in San Diego. I've been in San Diego for more than 30 years. I raised my family here, four boys. So San Diego's got a very special place in my heart. This tequila is called Emerald Spear. And the interesting thing about this, if you look at it, it is produced by 4 Navy SEALs. And so if you don't know much about San Diego has a big military presence, and the West Coast SEAL teams actually train here in San Diego, actually on Coronado Island. And so there's a few special things about this. One, is very organic tequila. It's a Blanco. So again, it's clean, very clean. It's not been aged. You see this trident on here. The trident is the symbol for the Navy SEALs. So these 4 Navy SEALs decided to put together a tequila. We're obviously very close to Mexico here, and so there's connections. They have connections to to Mexico and Jalisco, and so they put together this tequila here, very clean. It's called Emerald Spear. Emerald is also the nickname. Emerald City is Coronado. So that's how they got it all together. So you got the spear here for the Navy SEALs. You've got a very clean, amazing tequila. 4 Navy SEALs, close to my heart here in San Diego and the military. So definitely try this out. Highly recommend it. And so that's the tequila for this week.
That's really interesting. And as ever, you not only are curating these tequilas, you tell us the story about them. And again, for folks that have not been paying attention to this podcast series until now, it's interesting that you say that it's not aged. So that's actually a good thing in tequila, or can be.
It can be, and it's just a different, flavor profile, right? So all tequila starts out as a Blanco, and then you can do different things with it, just like you would a Scotch or a whiskey, or even wine, right? So your wine starts out and you age it in oak barrels. So there are, again, it's like Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, Extra Añejo, and so we'll talk about different ones, but it's nice to start with the Blanco because you can see the origins of that tequila and taste it, and then see, try maybe even the different versions of the same tequila, see how it changes. So,
Well, Jake, I really want to thank you for joining us today and giving us this edition of the TELCLOUD's Pots and Shots series. Thank you. I actually, on my own, I wanted to just say I really now better understand how you guys achieve the redundancy at the level that you duplicate the 5.9 reliability that we've always gotten from pots. So that was really interesting, and do it at a lower price than the pots is now being served at. Jake, where can we learn more about TELCLOUD?
yes, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. So you can always go to telcloud.com or 844-900-2270. Give us a call. We'd love to chat with you and see how we can help.
So also for people that are watching this for the first time, this might be your first Pots and Shots. We have a whole bunch of them already up online. at technologyreseller.com, telecomreseller.com. Go visit, click on the podcast. And also we have coming up, our next edition will be Remote Reboot Keeps Networks Running with Less Effort. But for now, thank you very much indeed, Jake, and I'll look forward to the next one.
Thanks, Doug. See you next time.